Okay, peace. My name is Brother Wale. This is a introduction to your birth chart. Now, typically in Western society, in America, North America, United States, whatever, when you say astrology, first thing comes to mind for people is the things that they see in newspapers and magazines, mainstream media, etc. That is what's called sun sign astrology. Okay, I'm gonna show you that here. Sun sign astrology is a form of astrology, most commonly found in many newspapers and magazine columns. It is a simplified system of astrology which considers only the position of the sun at birth, which is said to be placed within one of the 12 zodiac signs. Okay, that's the zodiac wheel, the 12 signs of the year. This sign is called your sun sign or star sign of the person born in that 12th part of the year. Sun sign astrologers take the basic 12-fold division and relate all current movements of all planets to each other, using traditional rules of to divine meaning for each sign separately. Because the moon has the fastest apparent movement in all the heavenly bodies, is often used as the main indicator of daily trends for sun sign forecasts. Now, what it's telling you is that the sun, which is said to be placed within simplified system of astrology, which considers only the position of the sun at birth. That's the main part you need to understand. What you're a Libra. You've been knowing you're a Libra all your life. I know a lot of our people know our astrology signs, so-called astrology signs. Like my father's like 63. He'll tell somebody in a minute he's an Aries. So um, that you are only a Libra because that's what the sun was at the time you were born. The sun was in the sign of Libra. Now, the key to a birth chart, the difference between a birth chart and I guess you could say what I would say is true astrology. Sun sign astrology, as they say, is a simplified system of it. True astrology shows you what every planet was at the time you was born, because every planet has an effect on you just as the sun does. Now, this is an introductory to your birth chart, so you can understand that we can spend an hour explaining how every little thing works, but that's not really the point right now. The point is for you to understand that this stuff affects you and see how it affects you and to use it to your benefit. Not necessarily to become, an astronaut or nothing like that. So this little picture right here shows you what each planet and in astrology, the moon and the sun are considered planets, just to keep it simple. Um, how each of these planets affect you in your life, and it's essentially your entire mind on paper. Okay, so the sun is your will, what you will to do, what you naturally enjoy. Mercury is how you communicate and how you think. Venus is what you like and what you love. The moon is your emotions. Mars is your protectors, how you act, your defense mechanisms. Jupiter is your unfolding spirituality, your gifts, your perspectives. Saturn is your disciplines and how you fix yourself, and how you self discipline. You say to yourself, "Well, I can't buy this no more. I can't do that anymore." Things of that nature. Neptune is your imagination. And you can understand that easily. Uranus is your intuition. Your impulse says impulse for change. That bright light in your head when something comes to you, you say, "Oh, okay, so that's what that is." That's Uranus within you. And Pluto is essentially your highest self, your inner God. It says inner transformations. This is when you come to a point in life where you say, "I can't do this anymore. I got to do something different." I'm aware of your past marriage, so that's something that could be related to Pluto in the sense that Pluto rules Scorpio. Scorpio is the sign of death and transformation. So it's just how you sometimes things happen in life where you realize, like I said, you can't do some certain things anymore. That's that when that intuition comes, and then you say, "Well, I can't do it no more. I'm changing. I'm gonna be a different person." That's Pluto representing that. That's what Pluto represents society. Now I know some of this sound kind of fantastical, right? But mean, we could go all day and explaining every little thing, or you can just look at it and see how it affects you and see if it's any accuracy in it. I always tell people don't try to become an astrologer. Just simply look at your own chart and see how these things affect you. So understand, I took your birth chart, which typical birth charts are going to look like this. As you can see, it's yours. This is where all the planets were when you were born. As you can see, it's pretty intricate, with the numbers, the degrees within the signs. Now, since you knew to astrology and to birth charts in general, I've taken this and condensed it down to a very simplistic. Sun is in Libra in the third house, and this is how it can affect you. Now, if you look on here, you understand what you're looking at. Your sun is in Libra, right? See, it says LIB Libra, and it says in the third house. See 3 right here. It's the third house. Now, I understand that that's confusing, and I'm not necessarily here to break all that down to you, but I'm just want to show you that I've taken something that's very intricate and made it very simple for this reading, just so you can get this, like I say, introductory to your birth chart. Now, this has a sun, moon. This has all your planets, as well as some asteroids and what their effects are on you, as well as some calculated points. See, it's very, very intricate, and this is why your mate or potential mate, I don't really know you all's status, but this is why she wanted you to have a very simplistic chart, so you can just get just a brief understanding of how this stuff works. So this is the current planets for October 8th, because it's a particular reason why she chose that date for this chart, and I'll explain to you in a second. And then this chart down here is what's called a progress chart, which I will explain in a second, but I won't go over here because might get too much information for you. So let's start at the top. Now, let me show you exactly what a birth chart is, so you can have that understanding before we start. They say human beings don't come with an instruction manual. Well, let's see what this is at the top so you understand. What is an astrology chart? What is the birth chart? Okay. They say human beings don't come with an instruction manual. We beg to differ. Your astrology chart holds the key to your personality and path. An astrology birth chart, also called an astrology natal chart, is a map where all the planets were in their journey around the sun from our vantage point on Earth at the exact moment you were born. An astrology chart reading can reveal your strengths, weaknesses, opportunities for soul growth, and best timing for your most important moves. Okay, so that's what all this is right here. This is a self. I call it a self cheat sheet, because you can look at certain aspects of yourself, see certain qualities, and you understand why you are like that. This is the I know for people who don't study this like I do. I know sometimes I could say certain things that sound kind of fantastic, sound kind of unbelievable, if you will, to some people. So I kind of I just try to kind of show the proof in the pudding. You understand? So your sun is in Libra, right, in the third house. So you naturally like to relate to people because that's Libra. And the third house makes you do that by conversation, because third house rules communication, intellect, how you talk to people. Now your moon is in Libra as well. Now this is special because you were born on what's called a new moon. You're like a true Libra, if you will. The new moon happens every 28 days. Okay, so you just so happen to have been born on that day when it was a new moon, and that is the reason why your mate decided this date, because this is essentially your astrological birthday, if you will, considering that the sun and the moon will be in Libra. If that is a new moon, it's in about 4 days. So this is why she chose this particular date to pull the chart for you, just so you can understand that this is something that you can use daily, because you'll look and see where the planets are, and you'll look and see how it affects you. And so we'll go back to that in a second. So that's why I just wanted to show you. That's why she chose this date in particular, October 8th, because the sun and the moon will be in Libra. And everything in your chart, being that you are a Libra, a lot of it is relating back to relationships, and it's relating back to maybe you being ready to enter a relationship right now. And I understand that that was kind of the theme behind you getting the reading in the first place from your mate, because the first thing that we did was look at the symmetry chart between you both, and the first thing that jumped in my mind was the fact that both of you were Libras, and she was born on a full moon, so her moon's in Aries, and you were born on a new moon. Your moon's in Libra. That's very rare. And you, like me and my wife, I'm a Gemini. My wife is a Sagittarius. That's exact opposites. You want to be with someone who completes you in life. Essentially, that's anybody. And her moon is the exact opposite of yours. So in a sense, she completes you in that manner. So that was the first thing that popped in my mind. The first thing I seen when I did the symmetry reading for you too, which she wants to show you, but you have to get an understanding of this first. So since your moon is in Libra, you soothe yourself by comparing yourself to those you interact with, because your moon is in the third house as well. So your moon is your emotions, how you deal with things, and you being a Libra, you compare yourself to others. Fortunately, unfortunately, it's good and bad. It's good to have a measuring stick, but at the same time, you may judge. You may act a particular way based on how you want people to see you, how you think you should look to certain people and things of that nature. Your your what's called your ascendant, right? Which is your first house. Come here so you can see. This is your first house. These are your houses. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7, 8, 10, 11, 12. These are the signs. Okay? It goes planets, signs, houses. Those three layers of the chart interplay with each other, and this creates a different personality in everyone. This is essentially God's plan, for everybody to be different. We can get into the science of how the sun's light rays affect the electromagnetic pole within your body, and this is how it affects you at birth. But we're not going there right now, because as I said, it's a brief introduction. But just to let you know, everything matters. So let's get back here. So I was saying your ascendant is in Leo, right? So that, all right, matter of fact, right before we go to ascendant, let me just show you these two pictures right here so you get an understanding of this. As I said, it was three factors, right? You got the houses, the signs, and the planets. Okay. So the houses are the zodiac mansions, of which there are 12, representing every facet of your life. The zodiac signs, the lords, of which there are 12. They are at home in one of each of the 12 houses. The bodies of planets, of which there are 10, and they are at home if they are in one of the 12 houses, with the exception of the goddess Venus, who resides over two houses, and her messenger Mercury, who resides over two houses. Because Venus, which is important concerning you, rules Libra and Taurus. Mercury rules Gemini and Virgo. As you can see there, Venus resides over the second house, which is ruled by Taurus. She likes things aesthetically correct, possessions, beauty, and balance. And she resides in the house of partners, seventh. That's Libra, seventh house, which is important specifically in your chart, because a lot of just the fact that you were born on a new moon in Libra, Libra ruling the seventh house is the house of relationships, and as well as once you go down to this right here, Chiron is in the seventh house, and this literally says within the once you look it up, it says may cause early marriage or early divorce, or both, because it's in the seventh house, and Chiron rules where you are wounded at spiritually and the lessons you have to learn in this life. I know some of that stuff can sound kind of I don't know, something that's unbelievable and things that crazy stuff people believe in. I know some of it get kind of mystical in that sense, but the thing about it is, You can't deny the numbers. You were born at a specific time. This was in the sky at that specific time. Let's say 2:15 in the morning. So it was 1763. We can't deny that the moon and the sun was only 3 degrees apart. It makes you, as I said, somewhat of a special person, very energetic, considering you know how to project your emotions. And you know how you feel. You understand yourself based on your placements, because your sun and your moon is right next to each other. A lot of people don't have that. Some people have what's called hard aspects, and that's another that's another layer to the chart, which I'll show you just real quick. When I say that, these lines represent the degrees in between the planets, and those degrees represent angles, and the way angles deal with each other within your mind and how you understand yourself. You see, so once again, it's a very intricate study, true astrology, studying your birth chart. But this is a very simplistic breakdown of each of your placements, and in the hopes that you take this further. Like I can just show you, um, your Mercury is in Libra. What you could do is come to, your search bar on the internet. I don't know how familiar you may be with the internet, but you can just type in Mercury in Libra, press enter, and you'll have pages and pages of stuff that comes up concerning that placement in birth charts, because this information is very plentiful these days. So that's what I'm saying. It's a lot to it. But in this breakdown, as you can see, since your ascendant is in Leo, and ascendant is the start of your first house, as I said, you like people to see you as authoritative, expressive, like the lion, the king, or whatever situation you put yourself in. You like to look good. It's just how your mind works. Mercury is in Libra, so in the second house, you're a natural diplomat, and you believe in fairness and balance. The house that makes you great. This house makes you great with finances. You're probably good with your money. And Venus is in Scorpio. Venus is who you love. And matter of fact, let me bring this back. I don't have it. I can close it, but you seen it where let me pull it up. Okay, as you can see, Venus expression of love, and Mercury is how you think. So your Mercury, as I said, is in Libra, so it makes you a natural diplomat. You believe in fairness and balance, and it makes you great with finances because you think in the way of a Libra does. And with your Sun and Moon being in Libra, as I said, you understand your emotions, you understand your mind well, so it makes you, a powerful individual. So Venus is in Scorpio. Venus is expressions of love, who you love. You are intense lover. It's all or nothing. Very particular with your desires, but may use others as a measuring stick. Once again, because it's in the third house, because it's communications. Third house is how you think, and the way you think is based on your Mercury being in Libra. That's why I said you may use others as a measuring stick. Scorpio is about things that you want. Your seventh house, the descendant is the start of your seventh house. This rules your house of marriage. Is in the sign of freedom. You have to have a partner that gives you the freedom. Also, must have a partner that's intelligent, because Aquarius rules information. So, intelligent people, intelligent women intrigue you, which kind of makes sense with this person getting you this chart. Your Mars is in Scorpio, which Mars co-rules Scorpio. Mars is your protector. Mars rules Aries, Scorpio. It's how you take action, sexual energy. It's in the fourth house, so it's how you deal with emotions. So you are a go-getter. You understand motives, or therefore know how to manipulate. Oh, you understand the motives of others, and therefore know how to manipulate them. And you're very, very protective of your family, of your mother, because your Mars is in the fourth house. So Jupiter's in Aries. What is important to you and where you expand. That's what Jupiter rules. Aries is the starter sign, how you begin things. And the ninth house is the house of philosophy, and it's actually ruled by Jupiter, so it's a good placement. So you're a philosophical thinker. The big picture is important to you. Jupiter is at home in the ninth sign. Vacations and taking trips, let's say far away trips overseas, stuff like that. Maybe intriguing to you just because Jupiter likes travel, rules that area of the mind. So Saturn is your discipline, how you discipline yourself. It's in Aquarius, which Saturn co-rules Aquarius, so that's a good placement. So once again, make you a great analytical mind. You know how to apply information you take in because Saturn is your understanding. And with that being what's called trine, that's an angle aspect, like I was speaking of earlier, with your sun being in Libra, that's the air elements. Those air elements go well together. So when you take in information, because you communicate with people well, being that your sun is in the third house, when you take in information, you're able to understand it well because your Saturn is in Aquarius. So I mean, this is showing you why you smart on paper. You know what I mean? Like some things you get that others can't get to after they have to deal with it for a little while. You can contemplate it all in the mind because you're air sign, air sign Libra is an air sign, and it's in the third house, which is ruled by Gemini, which is an air sign, and then your Saturn is in Aquarius, which is an air sign. So, and then it's in the sixth house, which is the application of knowledge, which is ruled by Virgo. As you can see, this gets very, very, very technical. And the mission is this for you to get just the basics. So I'm trying not to go too much into each one. Just trying to stay on this out on the outskirts. So Uranus is how you change. It's your intuition, and it's in the first house. So you like to look at yourself as a, you see I put you a bit eccentric, a different kind of thinker. You don't necessarily want to be exactly like everyone else. You have your particular understanding. Once again, a great business mind. Virgo is what you do. So Uranus is like I said, your intuition, like highest intelligence. Uranus rules Aquarius, which is where your Saturn is. You remember? Okay. So Neptune is in Scorpio. Neptune is your imagination. It's in the fourth house, the house of home, how you deal with emotions. So you may have a mystical imagination. You know there is another side of people they don't show. You probably learned this young from your family, being that your Neptune is in the fourth house. May have caused some kind of not necessarily problems with your family, but just maybe some things that y'all had to deal with or you had to deal with concerning them. Okay, so Pluto and these outer planets are called generational planets in astrology because they take so long to go through signs. Uranus takes 7 years, Neptune, I think 12, and Pluto anywhere between 10 years and 20 years because Pluto's orbit is kind of funny. So these are called generational planets. They affect whole generations, like from, let's say, 70 to 80, stuff like that. And so Pluto was in, let me see, Virgo when you were born. Like I was born, 20 years later, and Pluto was only in Scorpio when I was born. So you see, it's only two signs away, and we was born like 20 years apart. So it's like I said, like 10 to 20 years with Pluto. So what house placement Pluto is in is important, even more so, I would say, than the sign it's in. So with you, it's in your first house, which goes what's called conjunct with your Uranus in your first house. We can look at that picture. I can show you what I'm talking about. Let me see, what was the first house? So Pluto is here and Uranus is there. So they're right next to each other, 13 and 8 degrees. In your first house, in your first house is the house of self, how you present yourself to people, how you think you present yourself to people, how you aim to present yourself to people, which is in Leo, right? Yeah. So your first house, and you can see how it overlaps. Your first house starts in Leo, but some of it is in Virgo, and the parts of it that is in Virgo, Pluto and Uranus is in. See, even though your first house starts in Leo. So yes, it can get very technical, and that's the whole point of you just getting the basics in this opening introductory thing. So what was we at? Pluto, Virgo, yeah. Oh, you don't change much, but when you do, it's a completely new self, changing or improving every detail because Pluto's in Virgo. It's in the first house, so it's you how you think of yourself. So of course, it all starts in the mind first, which makes sense because you're a Libra. Excuse me, and you think abstractly anyway. It's natural. So your North Node, where your soul is heading in its lifetime. It's a whole mythology about that on the North Node. It's about past lives and reincarnation. things like that about what you incarnated in this life to do, and yours being encounters, how to deal with emotions and the other side of you, essentially, especially with you being a Libra. Libra is about balance. Your Juno, which it represents who you want to marry, is in Libra. So that goes right along with the narrative of your entire chart. And then the chart for this particular date is I have it a little breakdown of how it affects you. The ascending and descending going to change throughout the day, so time is irrelevant. Um, as you can see, some planets are going to be harmonious, some are not, based on the elements. Air and fire are harmonious, earth and water are harmonious, and obviously the crosses from that are inharmonious. As an example, the true node being Leo, yours is in Cancer, so that's fire and water, so that's inharmonious. So it's going to have a not necessarily a negative effect on you, but just something that you're not necessarily comfortable with, and that's how it works. And this last chart here is your progress chart. This is a chart for how you are now, because throughout life we progress 1 degree a year. Your sun progresses 1 degree a year. Then you pull a chart off of the amount of time that you live. So since you are a little bit under 60, right? You what 55? So you it's 55 degrees away from your birth day. 55 days away. They pull a chart for 55 days away from your birthday, and that's how your progress chart works. It's based on math, but even your moon right now progress is back at Libra. So once again, it's just like your whole chart is kind of relating to a relationship change right now. Your moon being back in Libra is what's called a moon return, and this happens 2 to 3 times in life, depending on how long you live. It happens every 27 years, 28 years. So very important for you once again, as I was saying, and it's all about relationships. The whole chart relates to relationships, as far as I can tell. So we've been over 20 minutes now, but so I couldn't actually go through everything. But essentially, what you would do is just take what's if you want to know more, take what's in this column, Mercury, and you Google or read or look up on your phone or your computer, whatever, Mercury in Libra, Venus in Scorpio. Um, you can type descendant in Aquarius. Seventh house would come up, cusp of seventh house. Seventh house in Aquarius. Any house in any sign, particularly. But that's once again another level of astrology, really studying chart. This is just a basic, but this can give you a good outline. And if you find that some of it is correct, you may want to use it to learn more. So, peace. I hope you learned some.